Alright, fine, dang, I'll give you what you want. I'm recording this the day before. I haven't sparred in 150 days, which, if you don't know how long that is, that's almost 6 months, which is basically half a year. So, I really don't know how rusty I'll be. I'm kind of scared, because I don't know who my opponent is, I don't know who coach is gonna put me in the ring against, but hey, we'll see. I might just have to thug it out, and I'll try and do what I do, so I'll see y'all on that day. So I made it into the gym as always, and then we immediately went into the spar. Now basically coach was briefing us on the main thing in the spar: don't hit each other on the back of the head. Which is true, you shouldn't be rabbit punching people anyway. So coach sent us back to our corners and we're about to get ready. But before I start commentating on the spar itself, I actually want you to take a look at this statistic I made really quick. We'll go over it again at the end, but I just want to make sure you see it. Round 1 goes, I have 35 punches thrown, 12 landed, and a 34.29% landing percentage. You can see the punches that I threw there. And also here's what my sparring partner threw: 49 punches in total, 12 landed and 24.49. I threw 57, landed 18, and had a 31.58 landing percentage. My partner threw 20, landed 4, and had a 20% landing percentage. I threw 54, landed 20, and had a 37.04 percentage of landing in the third round. And for my opponent, it was 22 thrown, 6 landed, and 27.27% landing percentage. So it looks pretty good for me, right? I mean, I threw more, I had a higher landing percentage. What more could you want? Well, see, here's the thing. It isn't as good as it seems on the cards, and we're about to go into this spar, and I'm about to show you why. Alright, y'all, this spar starts out, I feel not really that comfortable right now. This is a completely new environment for me, and remember, 5 months since I've last sparred. Been a long time. Anyway, as you can see, I'm just throwing my jab out there. You know, it seems pretty weak, but I'm just, continuing to throw. My opponent actually gets me here in the corner, and then I do that thing where I just shell up. As you can see, just throwing my jab out there, there's a cross. And my opponent is just slugging with me. Now I use that uppercut overhand combo. Well, it's more like a right hook, but I use that combo to actually get out. But there it doesn't work that well because my opponent's just throwing and I'm kind of not throwing hard punches at all. As you can see, mine are, they look like I'm going for points versus actually trying to kill my opponent. Now, it's worth noting that coach said go full throttle here, but, it doesn't seem like I actually am going full throttle with my punches. Anyway, as you can see, I keep throwing that jab out there. Now he goes to the body and to the head with those hooks, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I could see them. Nice uppercut there by me. It came out of the clinch, and luckily I slipped. Now my opponent has just been backing me up this whole sparring session for now. This round has basically just been all him. And that's the end of that. Now I said I couldn't see hooks because, well, I can't see hooks with my headgear. The cheek guards go all the way up here, and I'm already Asian, so I can't see. No, I'm just kidding about that, but seriously, I really can't see hooks, so I might need to get a new headgear. Alright, round 2 starts, y'all. Hopefully I'm off to a better start this round compared to my last. As you can see, I just throw that lead hand out there, probing with it. He's closing the distance. That cross found its mark because I actually probed with my lead hand instead of throwing it out there naked. But then I shell up and back up. That's my main move per se because I don't have anything conditioned yet. Anyway, my opponent's just able to back me up here because I kind of try and avoid slugging it out, If you remember my old videos, I try not to, get CTE, so yeah, that's definitely one of the things I do. Anyway, I throw out a couple jabs there, just a quick flurry. My opponent is actually able to get out of the way of most of them. As you can see, he's really able to evade like almost all of these punches. Anyway, as you can see, it's a slightly more active round for me, but then my opponent backs me up into the ropes, and I'm able to get out, luckily. Sparring partner just, you know, able to push me around, per se. There's a couple hooks from him. As you can see, that activity, it really hurts me. Like, it doesn't seem like they're landing clean, which they're not because my gloves are in the way, but man, he was powerful. I think this might be the most power I've ever felt in any spar I've actually ever been in. Anyway, as you can see, I barely get out of that corner by ducking under, but that's the end of that. Alright y'all, third round here. Let's go get that done. As you can see, I throw out that double jab. You know, well, not a double jab. I'm not really completely committing to it there. I'm just trying to throw that jab out there. There's a naked cross. As you can see, it doesn't land its mark because one, you could see it coming, and two, I'm not hiding it behind anything. Anyway, that hook barely made its mark. It actually kind of blocked his hook because I threw. So it's something to note. But my opponent here, my sparring partner, just able to tag me up. There's a couple jabs there, not a couple. There's a couple more singles, per se. That frame really saved me there. If that left hook would have landed to my liver, that would have sucked. We're just slugging it out in the corner, and I'm actually able to, you know, I don't think I came out of that exchange better than my opponent. And that, you know, that frame kind of saving me there. I don't know if it did as well as the first time, but you know, I'm scared of that left hook. I get him against the ropes, and I throw a slightly horrible step back combo. I'm gonna be honest, that one was not great. Throw out that double jab there, just keep throwing it out. And my opponent able to back me up, but luckily I'm able to circle out there when I reach the ropes. My opponent backing me up again. I kind of use that cross to circle out that way, and luckily I throw those punches that also allow me to circle out. I keep that circular motion going. But my opponent's still backing me up to the very end. He actually caught me there when I ducked down. I think he predicted what I was going to do because that was basically what I'm doing for the whole spar. And that's the end of that. Well, y'all, that's my first sparring session in 5 months over. And you see why I said that? I was getting backed up throughout those whole rounds. In terms of footwork and activity, I would say in footwork, my opponent actually, you know, was getting the better of me when it comes to pressure. Obviously, I threw more punches, but still, you know, they were weak compared to his. You know, whatever landed actually counted for him, and I just threw a flurry. For example, throughout all the rounds, you can see I threw 87 jabs. That's a lot of jabs, and only 25 of them landed, but you know, I mean, I guess that is a lot of jabs, and it makes sense because my lead hand is my power hand after all. Now, right after that, my left hand, which is my left cross, actually came next. And even more of those left crosses landed than my jab, which kind of makes sense because most of those jabs were pretty weak and easy to dodge out of. Now, here's something interesting. My left uppercut made its mark most of the time with an 83.33% percentage of landing. And the reason why most of those landed super well is because with that uppercut, I'm able to come up with a uppercut and with that right hook. And that combo is really the only one I use up close, and its success is to a good effect, you know? It's able to get me out of situations if I throw it hard enough. But obviously those actually land clean because, you know, it's coming from a weird angle, to be honest. Now, my opponent actually threw some hard punches. You could see he was dominant with his left hook, his right straight, and his left hook to the body. So really throughout all these rounds, as you could see, I had a higher landing percentage, but my opponent had the higher power percentage. Even though power is not on the stats, you gotta remember, he was kinda, whooping me with that power in perspective, per se. Anyway, that's about it for today, y'all. I kinda felt like, having that Asian come out of me, and you could see it there, I just wanted to make a statistic, and here we are. So that's about it. I'm Kobe Gaza, and I hope you have a great day.